Looks like these Trump voters are regretting voting for Trump. Listen, you live and you learn, huh? You live and you learn. Why would you vote for somebody who's not even a politician, okay? That's crazy. But anyway, and then expect him to run your country. Come on. But anyway, let's watch this video. Let me know, as always, where you guys chiming in from. How are you guys doing? You know, I love talking to you guys. Seeing how my friends are doing around the world. Because, you know, once you subscribe, we are friends for life. I don't know if you know that now. So, you know, if you hit that subscribe button, you're my friend for life. But anyway, let's watch this video and see what these people have to say.
We want to have as many bees as we can to make honey.
At Secret Garden Bees, a honey farm in Linden, North Carolina, farmer Jim Hartman has one eye on his bees and the other on his bank account.
Ideally, we'll get 100 pounds of honey per hive per year.
How do you feel about paying more for things?
Well, you know, if you find someone who says, I'm happy about paying more for something, you point them out to me. People who already couldn't afford fresh vegetables, who couldn't already afford to put good food on their plate, are the ones that are really going to be hurt by this.
Did you ever think when you voted for President Trump that things were going to cost you more and you were going to lose money?
I never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote?
3 times? Hold on, bro. 3 times? Oh, yeah, because he did win that one versus Hillary. And he lost versus Biden. Damn, 3 times? Damn, bro, you ain't learned your lesson?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
Among other things, Jim imports packaging supplies for his honey, so he's paying real close attention to the tariffs Trump just put in place.
We just bought our year's supply of bottles from Taiwan and our year's supply of corks from Portugal about 3 weeks ago. So that would have been, you know, another 5,000 or 6,000 out of my pocket.
Which is partly why he's repairing instead of replacing this 40-year-old forklift.
The cost of equipment has just gone through the roof to buy anything like that because it just would be cost prohibitive.
He's also holding off on improvements around the farm.
Well, we're not going to hire any more people, that's for sure.
It's more than just the tariffs. For the past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, you know, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000.
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
That's a huge hit.
That's a massive hit.
Not far from Jim's farm, we found other Trump supporters.
Look at
who
this
give the
clown.
president high marks on tariffs.
Look
How do
at
you feel
it.
about the tariffs?
That damn clown. Let's look at him. Look at this clown. Nah, I want the other one.
Not far from Jim's farm, we found other Trump
Look at that clown. Holding that thing like it's a class project. Look at him. Get your ass out of office, man. We tired. Get up out of there. Doing all this dumb stuff, man. Messing up the world. Giving us Americans a bad name. Get your ass out of there. Get on up out of there.
supporters who give the president high marks on tariffs.
How do you feel about the tariffs?
Well, I feel like for years we've been getting ripped off, and why not make it fair? You know, 0-0.
Come on, bro.
And I think Trump was upfront about it. He said we're going to hurt some now.
I think some of the countries they're already starting to come around. It's going to be good. I really believe that.
You have faith in Trump?
Yes, I do.
I think he's doing the right thing.
You think he's doing the right thing? You probably don't even know. You probably haven't. These 3-day interview, they probably haven't brought out a calculator and calculated the numbers and seen that. Man, come on, them people living off their retirement, bro. They not even worried about that other stuff. Come on.
where we need to be. He needs to get the money somewhere, and they're charging us. Why not charge them?
Back at Jim's farm, though, still plenty of worry. He says raw honey is considered a luxury good, similar to organic vegetables. As prices rise,
I don't know what that's going to do to consumer spending.
Trump paused the majority of the tariffs for 90 days after we'd left Jim's farm. Jim told us by phone, it's flip-flopped so many times you can't take it to the bank. Who knows what it will be next week, adding, it seems like he's heard the American people. Randy Kay, CNN, Linden, North Carolina.
All of this volatility and uncertainty brought on by the trade war that we were just talking about. You know, you've got China announcing it's raising retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods from 84% to 25%. That coming after President Trump hiked the rate of Chinese goods, the rate on Chinese goods coming into America from 104% now to 145%. All of that creating so much uncertainty is having a real immediate impact on businesses, big and small, across the country. One small business owner joined us on the show just yesterday describing how the daily chaos and the changes in policy have left her with no good options.
It's hard to make a decision. You know, we had an idea yesterday after the announcement of, well, maybe we can export to Australia, repackage the products, and then re-import them from there. But because policy changes every 36 hours or so, I don't want to make that decision and make that move only for something else to change in just a couple more days. I'm paralyzed. I can't even make a decision right now.
Paralyzed. Another big area of concern is what this means for American farmers, of course. China is, among other things, the biggest export market for American soybeans. China bought 52% of American soybean exports last year, throwing American soybean farmers, understandably, into a whole new level of uncertainty right now. And joining me right now is Scott Metzger. He's a soybean farmer out of Ohio, also serves on the board of directors for the American Soybean Association. Scott, thank you very much for waking up and taking time to speak with me this morning. This change, I was looking forward to getting your take yesterday afternoon, and now we have this new change overnight coming from China announcing 125% tariff on all U.S. goods coming in. That includes on soybeans. What does this tariff on this new level of tariff on your produce mean for you?
Good morning, Kate. Yeah, it's an alarming concern. You know, with the tighter farm economy that we're in now, the tariffs are just adding issues to problems that we already have. We want to. It's just making it more complex and making it harder to make decisions on what we need to do.
I've heard the word complex from a couple farmers actually as well. It's already a complicated situation, and now it's becoming even more complex. I mean, you're, I believe, a sixth-generation farmer, farming with your brother and cousins. How does this moment feel for you?
Well, you know, we never have, going back to 2018. We really haven't recovered from the tariff trade wars back then, and you know we were probably 40% higher on soybean prices back then, and the farm economy in general was a lot better back then. So you go forward to now with what we are, and you know, a lot tighter farm economy, and complex, and adding these tariffs to it, it makes things really difficult. You know, a fear that we have, if this continues into the fall or even into next year, you know, there's a potential that, you know, there'll be some farms go out of business. You know, you could have a next generation not want to come back or not able to come back just because of the economies or the farm situation in general. And adding these tariffs to this, you know, there's just no room for error. But personally, in our operation in the state of Ohio last year, we were in extreme drought, and we roughly had half of a soybean crop and a corn crop last year. So in our area, it's feeling it even a little bit more. Having less of a commodity sale and these lower prices, and now we're throwing the tariffs on top of it. It just makes things very difficult.
And at the White House, in his cabinet meeting yesterday, the agriculture secretary
they don't care
spoke
about,
up talking about.
If you really think about it, the rich, that's rich. See, this man here, he's probably like middle class. But the rich up there, they're not going to be nearly as affected by these things as the middle class and the lower class citizens. That's the problem. It's like he doesn't care about the rest of the world, the rest of America. How do you want somebody to run their business if you are if you have a president that wakes up in the morning, flips a coin to see if he's going to raise the tariffs or not? That's what it seems like. It seems like, listen, if it lands on the head, I'm not touching the tariffs. If it lands on tails, tariffs. That's what it seems like.
About, if there's one thing, if people know, a group of people who know uncertainty would be farmers and ranchers. And I'm wondering what your ask, your plea, or just your message would be to the president in the midst of this, given your long experience and what you guys are facing.
Yeah, we urge the administration to to quickly couple the announcement with some negotiations to address the tariff and non-tariff barriers with the U.S. exports. We want to, and we're thankful for the 90-day grace period that we got to help some of the other countries come to the table and negotiate with the president before any more reciprocal tariffs comes on for those other countries, and also with China. Let's get to the table and get some things done. Maybe introduce the phase 2 trade deal on this, just so we don't have this prolonged suffering for the U.S. ag economy. And even with that, it even goes to the, it's not only the ag economy, but it's the rural economy as well. For every dollar we spend, it kind of rolls out probably 4, 5, 6 times in our local rural economy. So as a whole, if you don't have a strong farm economy, it usually then goes on down into your rural economy as well.
Yeah, the ripple effects, and as anyone knows, I mean, I grew up in a small town. The ripple effects are very real when the farm economy is struggling.
Yes.
Scott, it is really good to meet you. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good video because it shows this nonsense. Hold on, we don't. It shows the nonsense going on, and now the voters that voted for this guy are seemingly regretting their decision. Listen, we have to try to get out this mess together, guys. I'm just gonna be honest with you, but yeah, let me know what you got. Everyone thinks about this video. What you think about Donald Trump pausing? Yeah, that's good. He pauses, but bro, come on, you just. He's basing the stuff on if he woke up on the right side of the bed or not. And that's unacceptable. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.